going to get you over to your next stream, your next speed run. We have Jaxler here with Frogmonster with the any percent speed run. Take it away.
All right, what's good, everybody? I am Jaxler, and this is Frogmonster. Frogmonster is an indie game that came out last year where you play as a frog with a gun. It's a Metroidvania FPS game, and it's really, really sweet. Made by a solo dev, and the run for this is also just sick as well. So, on top of that as well, we do have an incentive that can be met at the end of the run for showing off a bunch of the game's super bosses. We'll get into kind of more about that and why this game is ridiculously hard as we go further in. But just to clarify one thing before we get started, this is the any percent unrestricted run. There's a restricted rule set that bans a couple of glitches. We're not going to be dealing with that. We're just going to beat the game as fast as possible on the current patch of the game. We're also going to play on classic difficulty. Even though it's the hardest difficulty, it ends up being faster because it causes enemies and bosses to move around the fastest. So that's what we're going to want for the speedrun. With that being said, time is going to be good to start in a moment. I just realized I didn't put on my speedrun timer, so we'll go ahead and fix that real quick. Time is going to start whenever I press confirm, so I'll start counting from 3, and we'll start the timer on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, welcome to Frogmonster, everybody. So like I mentioned, we are a frog with a gun, and as a result, we start off with 2 things right off of the bat. We have a 6-shot pistol with infinite ammo, and in just a moment, we will be getting access to our tongue. And so the tongue is the alt fire in this game, and it allows you to stick your tongue out, and wow, I got a free dragonfly, excellent. It allows you to stick your tongue out and eat things in the environment. So, for example, I ate that dragonfly, I ate a frog as well, and those will give different effects to you as soon as you eat them. So I'm actually going to be looking for a fly right over here. And so you'll see kind of that ticking meter in the bottom right corner next to my ammo. While the effect of the fly is still going, I have an increased reload speed. So after I kill those first couple of mosquitoes, I look for the fly so I can get that reload speed buff as the next wave of enemies is spawning in. And so one of the big things with this game is that enemy spawns are deterministic. So whenever you're in a wave fight or an ambush or something like that, then the enemies will spawn in after you kill a certain amount of specific types of enemies within the encounter. So as long as I kill them in the correct order, I know where the enemies are going to be every single time. Right here, we're going to get our first spell, Fireball. Fireball and spells in general are the way we're going to be healing in this run. So that blue bar is our mana, which we get from killing enemies. And we can spend the mana to shoot a Fireball or do another kind of spell effect that we could unlock later on as well. And during the first, this wave fight in particular, we get a free refill of our mana bar going into the first boss here. So I'm going to be pretty liberal with my usage of spells here. And then we're going to be heading into the first boss fight here, which is Groth. And so the way that Groth works is we route out specifically when we fire our shotgun ammo so that we can skip a couple attack cycles. So we wait, 2, 3. I was a little slow there, unfortunately. So 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm using the reload of the pistol right there. I'm actually going to take this a little bit slower because I ended up missing a headshot. And that should be the boss taken care of, just like that. Alrighty, so after beating that boss, we're going to get a couple of things. We're going to get a bug slot upgrade as well as a little bit of money. That 87 is really, really important. So let's talk about the bug slots. So similar to what Hollow Knight does, after you catch a bug for the first time, you can actually equip it in the pause menu at one of the checkpoints. And it's kind of like the charm notches where they give you a passive effect on equip. So in this case right here, we equipped Fly to get a passive reload speed buff. And then that Dragonfly we picked up increases the bullet travel speed, as well as gives us a net 5% damage increase, which is really nice. And so that's going to be kind of our primary build for the start. Each of those bugs has a different notch requirement that you have to have open. And in that case, now that we have 4, we can equip both at the same time. And so I'm also along the way looking for these mush rolls, which are little critters that when we eat them give us a little bit of a movement speed increase. So I'm nipping them a little bit as well by moving in a specific way. And then this fight right here, we start with a fireball so that the shotgun ammo gets launched towards us. That exploding guy was a little rude, so... Oh, I missed one somewhere. Nope, I didn't. I lied. There we go. Okay. So, sometimes I might go a little bit quiet, just like if a fight goes a little bit out of hand, but we managed to back that up just fine. So again, all of those enemies spawn in predetermined locations after a set amount of kills or specific enemy kills. So I'm hitting them in a specific way, in a specific order, so I know exactly where they're going to be and not have to worry about them at all. And so we're going to be taking a bit of a detour here. This is going to allow us to skip a combat encounter, ambush, as well as we're going to pick up another spell along the way. We're actually not going to use the spell at all. It actually got routed out pretty recently due to a new glitch that got found. But we are going to pick it up because every time you unlock a new spell, it gives you a full mana bar for free, which we're really going to want going into the next boss fight here. And so on the way, we're also going to be looking for a purple snack. That's a big purple butterfly. You saw me grab one on the way to the first enemy ambush in Marvin's domain. And if you get one of those, you get a free cast of your fireball without spending any mana. So it looks like this one's in a pretty good spot. So we're going to go ahead and yoink that. That was really fast. And now we're going to go into Marvin here. So at the start of this fight, I'm going to be listening to see where in the arena Marvin spawns. And I'm going to try to get 8 shotgun shells into his body. Might be a little slow here, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to back off here. And so the first attack on Marvin is always guaranteed to be the same, but after that it becomes a bit random. And so that's the attack we really wanted to see, because whenever he launches the spores, we can break the spores before they land back on the ground, and we can use that to refill our ammo here. If you get really good damage rolls, you can actually manage to completely skip that second spin around right there. But in this last phase right here, this poison mist is just going to spin up, so I'm just going to DPS the boss before the poison can even really do any damage, and that's Marvin taken care of, just like that. Alright, so after this, we're going to be introduced to the dash upgrade. Again, this is a Metroidvania, so after these first couple of bosses, we're going to get either a new weapon, a new notch slot, or some new ability. And in this case with Marvin, he's going to give us the ability to dash, which is really fun to mess around with. The big thing we need to keep in mind when using the dash is it's on a cooldown. So we want to make sure that we use it midair whenever possible, because you have a lot of friction in this game when you're on the ground. So by dashing midair and then holding the jump button to buffer jumps, that allows you to maintain the most amount of speed. We're picking up another spell here that we're not going to see just for the mana reload, and then we're going to see some rats. We're going to go ahead and do Shotgun Fireball for the most part. If I'm out of ammo, out of mana, then I'm going to opt for just the 2 shotgun shots. The fireballs are really important because they essentially do about a full, all of the pellets of a shotgun shot to the face worth of damage. So it's really important that you make good use of them. I can't believe I missed that dash jump. Okay. There we go. I'm also along the way making sure I'm doing these enemies in a specific way, so that the money drops relatively close by, because we do have a relatively tight money route that we need to hit by the time that we get to City. I'm so confused what happened there. Okay. I couldn't tell which one I killed. I'm going to kill that one with a pistol, just so I don't waste ammo. So one of the big things that is taken into consideration when we route a lot of these fights is that we have to worry a bit about making sure that we have all of the ammo we can possibly have after we exit the fight. So I want to make sure that I have full ammo going into this next boss, because it's going to be a little bit before I can put the boss into a state to give me more ammo. So I want to make sure I'm cycling through it quickly. So we're going to go ahead and load almost all of our ammo into Long Beast here. So this boss doesn't have a normal critical hit weak point that lets you deal extra damage. But what you can do is make use of some of the boss mechanics in order to stun the boss and give you some extra ammo. So what I'm doing right here is I'm actually luring the boss into these the rat that the boss spawns into these weak points, so that it stuns the boss and then it drops a couple of bits of ammo. So we're going to go ahead, now that the boss is transitioning into the last phase here, we are going to go ahead and just kill the rat, which is going to give us an ammo refill and a ton of extra resources, and that's Long Beast taken care of. Alright, so coming up, we're going to see sort of the first... Thank you. We're going to see the first major sequence break of the run, where we're going to be getting the Metroidvania upgrade after we take down this boss. And then we're going to quit and reload. So I actually completely ignored all of the save points, basically from Marvin's Domain onward. And that's so that I could warp back to Marvin's Domain as soon as I get this key item. And so normally it's supposed to be a one-way exit from Marvin's Domain into the outskirts, which is where we just were. But by using that quit and reload, we can essentially skip a boss, and a pretty tricky one at this point in the game. So that's pretty sweet. We're going to go ahead and do a similar type of thing where we quit and reload after getting this sparkling gem right here in this chest, which is going to save it to our inventory but not overwrite our checkpoint. I'm going to do a bit of a re-menu here, and then we're coming up on some more skips here in Yellow Forest. So there's 2 enemy ambushes that you're supposed to do here, but we're not going to worry about that. So we pick up a bird, which is going to allow us to refresh our dash for a short time. And then we also pick up a leaf bug, which is going to be a really important part of our DPS later on for equipables. And so right here, I'm going to be going for the first of the 2 Yellow Forest skips. Dash jump right there, and then I'll go for the slightly scary version. Nice. And you got to be really careful, though, because the fight trigger actually extends up pretty high right there, so you got to be pretty deliberate with where you time your dash jumps right there. It's worth noting as well that whenever you dash, it kind of cuts off any vertical momentum that you have. So you can actually, like, snipe your own jump and, like, just fall to your doom if you dash at the wrong time. We're going to take care of this guy who spooks us real quick. Do another dash jump. There's another fight that's supposed to be going on in that arena over there, but I'm just going to jump around it, and we're out of here. And so there's a boss fight that we're supposed to do called Limbs going to unlock access to the village here. But you can literally just jump over the wall. It's really funny too, because the dev for this game, Ben, he actually like put in a line of dialogue there. It's like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. Like, after we found that skip, which is really funny. So I'm going to do a quick menu here. We put on Mush Frog, which allows us to have our tongue auto-target things that we can eat, which is really nice for some of those hard-to-catch critters like the leaf bug that's hard to see, as well as the birds that like to fly away and are generally hard to take care of. And then we also equip the bass as well, which is going to let us swim faster. And so in this fight specifically, we can make use of these puffer fish that when you deal enough damage to them, they kerplode, and they do splash damage to enemies. Where's this last guy?
No.
Hello? Okay, well that took care of him. I don't know why he didn't aggro on me. That's strange. But anywho, we're going to be moving here through Green Sea for a little bit. So honestly, now would be a good time for 1 or 2 messages if you got anything.
Yeah, actually, I have one from Cool Frog, $10, that says, "Show me the bosses." And that's for an incentive for Jaxler to do the boss showcase here towards the end of the run. So if you want to get those donations in for that, !donate in chat. We'll get that for you. We're looking to raise $75 to have that incentive be greenlit.
And y'all got probably about another 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how much I choke, to get that met. So make sure you get your donations in. So now we're doing our big shopping trip. So over the course of the run, I've been picking up a lot of just like seemingly random chests with things like smooth stones and square rocks in them and those sparkly gems as well. And we're going to sell them all now pretty much because we are gearing up for our kind of game-breaking build that allows us to make a lot of the late game fights possible. So some of the bosses up until this point haven't been super bad. They're pretty difficult casually, because this game kind of has like Dark Souls tier, like difficult boss fights, I would argue, and I think most people would too. But we haven't gotten to any of the really nasty stuff yet, and this build that we're kind of working on is really going to help us work towards that. So what we did there is we got 2 things. We sold all of those square rocks so that we could get Magnet Roach and something called Beans. And Beans is arguably the best spell in the game. We are going to go ahead and do this menu right here. I didn't actually need to do that right there. I'm having muscle memory between different categories where you do a menu there and you don't do it elsewhere. But we're going to be actually doing a bit of a sort of unintended sequence of events here where you're normally kind of intended to go take on Hedgeward to unlock... Well, I guess you could technically do this earlier if you really wanted to. Where did the mana spawn? There he is. But, anywho, we're gonna... Oh, I am... Oh. I didn't buy the bug slot. That's interesting. How do I want to do this? You know what? We're gonna improv here. It loses a lot of time to go get that, so we're gonna go with this, why don't we? So normally I equip something here called Mantis Minnow, which would allow us to, I forgot to literally buy the thing that I've been setting up for. I just completely forgot to do that. That's funny. But, well, that's not a big deal. There's a warp gate that I can take. I'm just gonna have to suffer through Chroma here. But I was intending to equip a build called Mantis Minnow that summons this familiar that sits on our head that's really cute. And he shoots at enemies for us. And that really helps with the next two fights in particular because they summon a lot of little guys that are really obnoxious to deal with. But I forgot to buy a bug slot upgrade, so I don't have enough bug slots to actually equip that. So that's a little unfortunate. But it happens, so we're going to make do. So instead I went ahead and equipped Leaf Bug here, which is a really, really, really good trinket to equip. It gives your bullets a chance to, like, your shots to basically double up and, like, shoot twice as many bullets. I gotta be really careful here because I'm, like, about to die. Okay. So again, your spells heal you in this game. So if you make good use of your mana and resources, you can usually, like, tank hits. But I'm a little bit thrown off just because I have a bit more enemies on screen than I do normally, just because normally Mantis Minnow takes care of, especially these flying guys are really annoying to take care of. I'm going to go ahead and finish him off with a pistol just so I have ammo. There we go. And so now we're coming up on Chroma. This is going to be, I'm going to have to adjust a little bit here on the fly. But the way that Chroma works is Chroma doesn't have a traditional HP bar. Chroma, you advance phases of the fight by painting different colors on the wings. And so what we want in this fight, instead of like just raw damage, is we want spread. So we're going to be making use of the shotgun a lot because it has like a really wide spread. And normally you don't have Leaf Bug here, but if you get like a Leaf Bug proc, you'll notice that those yellow bullets come out. That means I got like the bonus chance to get extra bullets to come out of my mag. And so once this boss gets to a certain phase, which is right about now, it's going to transition into the final sort of desperation mode phase where it's like, oh my goodness. And okay, good, we got enemy spawns, thank the Lord Almighty. Oh, and I died. Okay. I thought I dashed out of the way of that. So again, I usually have Mantis Minnow here to take care of those little guys. But I did not have that privilege this time around. So I'm going to go ahead and just destroy this guy real quick because he will give me a bunch of resources. If he'll let me shoot him. Buddy, hello? Thank you. Oh, that's a lot of shotgun ammo. Okay. Not complaining. We'll give this one another go. So yeah, I'm a little messed up by not having my proper build equipped, but once we get past this boss, I'll be able to make that detour and go ahead and equip it. We're gonna wait here. This here. If you have anything you want to plug, now would be probably a good time.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, we do have the boss showcase. Probably in the next 15 minutes we're going to end that. So get those donations in for that. !donate in chat to do so. We're looking to raise $75 to get that greenlit, and we're about $10 into that right now. Looking further ahead, we do have a game choice for, if you look at later on the schedule this morning, there is an incentive to either have one of the runs either be Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine or Kirby's Avalanche. So if you want to get those donations in for that, you can certainly do so.
Go ahead.
Looks like that I may have spoken too soon. Looks like that incentive has been met for the Boss Showcase.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate that. All right, we can fix the build now. That's the other big thing. So we are gonna go ahead and equip Mantis Minnow, and then so something I haven't really mentioned quite yet is the Beans spell. And so one of the trinkets that we have equipped is that Mush Frog, and that's important for more than just being able to lock on to nearby thingamajigs. If you have Mush Frog equipped, it will activate something called a Secret Synergy, which gives you like a bonus effect after you make use of a specific spell. And in the case of Beans, it causes your bullets to have auto aim, and it's really broken. It turns out that not having to aim, well, not necessarily having to aim as much, is really, really powerful. And so as a result, we're gonna be like making sure that we have like our I's dotted and T's crossed, just to make sure we have like everything set to go with mana as a result. Okay, so we got a pretty major skip coming up here. This is probably the newest thing in the run, which is called Wood Cannon Skip. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to do this and then explain it after. Quiet. So I'm holding forward and I'm kind of wiggling my camera to the right in specific intervals until I can't move forward anymore. And I'm holding forward still, and we clip right through. Nice. So I actually set my frame rate to 40 FPS because your physics are just a little bit different at lower frame rates, and that allows us to bypass a Metroidvania upgrade for the Wood Cannon, which in turn ends up skipping a lot. So this is Rooney, and Rooney is really rude. Rooney has a couple of different things, a couple of different phases. This first one is just going to be pretty standard Rooney attacks. There we go. And you can already start to see how busted Mush Frog Beans is with the auto aim. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we lived. And so now you're going to also notice that we have Mantis Minnow in effect, which means that I'm going to have that little familiar shooting for me, which is going to be really helpful because Rooney has a bunch of different attacks that are like based on the different weapons you can unlock in the game. And so if you don't have a specific weapon unlocked, then it will just default you to the pistol. And some of those attacks as well like to spawn enemies that are really annoying to deal with just your pistol. So Mantis Minnow is really going to help us out in like, it likes to default to those enemies as well, like the little guys, which is really, really helpful. So we're going to go ahead and cast Beans again right here. Three, 4, 5, 6. And then we're doing a different phase here, like kind of based off of each weapon. And again, if you don't have a weapon for one of these particular phases, it will just let you use the pistol, which is really 3, 4, 5, 6. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, I'm aiming for headshots because that deals double damage. And then after this, we're going to be doing something called Ridge Skip. So normally there's like 6 bosses that you need to take care of, including Rooney, before you're allowed to pass through this door. But I don't really care about what we're allowed and not allowed to do. So I'm going to put myself in the corner here in a very specific spot. That should probably work. And this is going to cause the doors to close behind me, which allows me to sneak through without having to deal with any of those bosses, which allows us to get right to the end game. And so What we're going to do as we go down into Melora here is we're going to go ahead and adjust our build. I am at a flower checkpoint, game. We're going to go ahead and quit and reload so that we get full ammo. Or, sorry, half ammo. Whenever you quit and reload, you get a default amount of ammunition. And so that's better than having none after the Rooney fight. So now we're in Myzan's Forest, like way earlier than we're supposed to be. And so we're kind of outgeared, generally. But we have a couple of things going for us. For one, we have access to the beam synergy. So we're going to be able to light these enemies up pretty quickly. And then we also have Leaf Bug equipped for the chance for basically our shots to critically hit, as well as the Magnet Roach, which will increase the pickup radius of things like ammo and mana pretty substantially. And that's really important because mana in this game has a property where it actually decays, like, in the amount that you get as time passes and it's on the field. So you want to be getting the mana as quickly as possible, and Magnet Roach kind of enables that, so... Just go ahead and deal with some of these enemies here. Again, similar to the other ambushes we've done before, this is like a whole section of just ambushes. And I kind of have to lock in just a little bit just to make sure that I don't, like, die. Because if you die, you have to kind of do this whole section all over, which is really kind of punishing. But, again, this game is, you know, difficult, so... We'd like to jokingly call it Frog Souls in the community because of that. So I'm looking for, yeah, probably just this guy, right? Finish him off with a pistol. Alright, for this section right here, these bowls, like, are almost always kind of loaded in, so you can kind of just murder them before they have a chance to, like, try. Which is really nice, because they are very, very dangerous normally. They deal 2 bars of HP instead of 1. Which is extremely, extremely not cool. Oh, I sent a mush bomb out. That's not great. Accidentally fat-fingered the wrong spell, but it happens. And so we've got one more pretty major wave fight here before we get to the checkpoint that puts us past Myzan's Forest officially. So while I'm kind of cooking here, if we have any more messages we'd like to read, now would be a great time.
Yeah. We have the $15 donation from Topher Cakes that just says, "Good luck, gamers." And then we did receive that $50 donation so that the boss showcase will be live, or will be greenlit, so we're good there. And we have broken over $200 in donations just this morning. So good job, everyone.
Thank you all so much. Midwest Speedfest especially is a org that's, like, super important to me, so just because, you know, a lot of my friends are involved with it, as well as the fact that it's just been something I've been a part of for a while. So thank you all so much for supporting and continuing to make sure that Midwest Speedfest can do great things for speedrunning and for the world going forward. Alright, so we're going into sort of the last 2 bosses of the run. We have Myzan 1 and Myzan 2. And Myzan 1 has us see the boss transforming into, like, essentially different bosses that we would normally encounter in the different, like, sections of the ridge that we skipped with Ridge Skip. And so this first one right here, again, a big thing I'm trying to manage is my ammo here. So this is a pretty good phase to get first. So he's probably going to turn around now, and we have full ammo on another weapon. So one thing to keep in mind with a lot of the ammo in this game is if your ammo is set up in such a way where you pick up ammo while your clips are already kind of filled up fully, then it will kind of absorb the ammo, but it won't give you anything. And so that kind of comes into play when I'm deciding what ammo to use when. For example, I'm making sure to use a lot of my machine gun ammo right now because it has a pretty high drop rate. And it also tends to get cluttered on the battlefield a lot, so I want to make sure I'm cycling through that as much as possible. And so this is the Uskin Dord phase, which is one of the more dangerous ones. So we got kind of 2 of the more dangerous phases right off the bat, which is kind of what you prefer to see. So I'm gonna play this a little bit safe because okay, he's done. So okay, this is a great phase to get next. So again, if it looks like I'm going down to low HP, I am, but also don't be too worried because I do have the ability to heal whenever I cast a spell, so. I am going to try to start keeping my ammo a bit on the higher side. Just because there's one phase in particular where Myzan transforms into a bird that I really want to have full ammo for. There we go, nice. Let's see what phase we get here. There's the bird phase. We'll see if that's enough. It is, great. So the way that this part of the fight works is that there are these different weak points. Oh, and we got a one phase, nice. That's pretty tough to get consistently. So kind of the gimmick behind that phase is that there are these different like weak points on the boss that you need to shoot to deal damage instead of like actually like dealing with the boss the normal way. 2, 3. And then we're climbing through Barge here. So this is actually kind of like a platforming boss in a wild way. Barge casually is, I think most people's like, oh my goodness, I'm getting absolutely clobbered right now. I haven't had a setup like this for Barge in a while. This is kind of a unique room layout, so I'm a little thrown. But that's okay. Because we basically have full resources going into... Oh, this is kind of not the... This is a kind of a reload phase, I call it, where you kind of get a lot of your everything back. Because you can pull these weak points off of the boss. This one is based off the boss's Ithida. I'm going to be coming out of here with full mana, though, which is really nice. I really want to have mana, if possible, going into this phase, which is... what's his name? Krogar. Krogar is incredibly dangerous. His attacks do a lot of damage. His attacks are really annoying to avoid as well. It's overall not the greatest time. But the gimmick is that during the second phase of the fight, he's actually going to split up into like multiple body parts. And he's very dangerous when he goes into that phase. So I'm kind of managing what ammo I have when here. I want to have a lot of shotgun ammo. Kind of as we go into the phase transition here. We're going to kind of use some of this machine gun ammo right here to take care of one of the eyeballs. Ooh, I got to be very careful here until I get that heal. There we go. I think we have one... Oh, nope, that was the last phase. Okay. Nice. So we got through there without a death, which is really nice, because if you die on any of those phases, you have to start the whole thing over. And that's especially punishing, because you don't start with any mana at all, so it can be really troublesome to deal with. And so now we're making our way to the final boss, so we're almost at the end of the run, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this checkpoint for safety. And we're going to grab this ammo fly to refill our shotgun ammo. And we're going to be making our way through the end. Yeah, this is a pretty solid pace for having accidentally not gotten the correct build going and dying to chroma as a result. But you know what? Things happen. Alright, so for phase 1 of the final Myzan fight, he generally will sort of alternate between a gap closing attack and a ranged attack option. And so what we're looking for here is, as soon as we get these phase transitions, we go ahead and go into our beans plus shotgun ammo combo to deal a ton of damage. And so if I do this right, I can essentially like loop the boss into like each phase. And as you can see right there, he's already like, he's damage gated, so he can't take like any more additional damage at this point. So then we can just refill all of our ammo, and we're going into phase 2, which is by far the scariest part of the fight, where he has a bunch of different attacks he can do, but he can only do them once each. Alright, this bomb attack is probably the most dangerous. The way that I try to avoid it is I jump off the platform, and then I dash back on. because he doesn't shoot any bombs off the or like away from the platform. And then he's gonna land here, which is really good. Can't believe I just lived that. Holy smokes. Okay. We are playing with fire a little bit. I would like to be a little bit higher HP, but we will have to make do. Nice thing is we got the air blades phase, which means we can kind of just rotate back and forth, and we're good to go. And then for this phase right here, he's going to basically summon a bunch of landmines. Got through. Okay. And so generally speaking, the boss will not repeat attacks as well. So like here, for example, I can be a little bit more aggressive because I know he's not going to do something generationally awful to me. And so now he's at a point where he can start to... Oh, we're in phase 3. Okay. All right. Managed to clutch that one up. So this last phase right here, the way this one works is we're just going to go... Oh, I am out of ammo on that weapon. Okay. We're just going to kind of dash around the arena because the boss's multiple Hydra heads will kind of just spawn bombs in a specific, like, set timing. And then I can unload an entire machine gun clip into the boss's face, which will just take care of it in one go. And then this should be wrapping up. And that's the final boss right there. So time's actually going to be coming up in a little bit here. So we're going to get this Myzan key so we can lock the big bad away. I didn't even really have time to go into the story. There's just so much going on with this game. Only one death and like a low 36 probably is really, really good for a marathon setting. So I'm really happy with that. Thank you so much to Midwest Speedfest for letting me show off this run and this game, just because this game took over my life in April. I have like some unholy playtime in this. I have like 230 hours in this game. It's not healthy. But that just goes to show how good this game is. And time. Alright, I think I might have clutched out a high 35 right there, so.
35.50.
Wow. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I think I have a 33 something. So that's pretty good with a death and with beefing the route. But alright, so I think just correct me if I'm wrong, we hit the incentive during the run for the Super Bowl.
We did hit the incentive for that. So
thank you all so much for meeting that, by the way. So we're gonna go right into that. We don't have to like restart the timer or anything like that. But to give you an idea of what this is and what y'all donated for, after you beat the game and after you've defeated pretty much every boss in the game for the most part that you can, outside of this area, you unlock the Soup Gauntlet, which allows you to do these different like challenges of like a boss rush. And each one of these soup challenges has a unique boss that isn't seen anywhere else. So there are 3 super bosses that you can find within the world, and then 4 that are located at the end of each of these super boss rush challenges. And we're going to be going through all 7 in one loop. And so just to kind of go into... this is being done on a completed file, just because this gives us a lot of stuff to work with, and it makes for a really, like, fast-paced, but also high-risk, high-reward kind of build, which is my favorite. So to just go over what the build is, we have Mush Frog for the beans auto-aim again. And we have Magnet Roach and Leaf Bug, similar to what we saw during the run. We also have Fly for slightly faster reload speed, as well as Fog Fly. So Fog Fly will give us a huge damage buff on the first shot that we shoot out of a given weapon. So this first shot out of the pistol, bonus damage. Second shot, regular damage. Something that you'll notice with a lot of our weapons is they are single-fire weapons. So this gives our single-shot shotgun, our crossbow, our rocket launcher, our wood cannon, just free bonus damage. It's kind of ridiculous, right? And so we're going to go ahead and just hop right in with Mud here. This guy is a stick bug. And so these bosses are really scary because most of them have some kind of attack that can deal double damage. So for example, I can get Stick Bug if I end up hitting one of his like pieces of web filament that he leaves around. I'm going to be making use of the crossbow right there. The crossbow, in addition to being single fire, also has a slowing effect, which is really good for just like managing where the boss is. Ooh, I'm dead there. Yep. That should give you an idea of how hard these super bosses are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we'll give that another go, but without me talking as much. How about? Oh, and I missed a wood cannon shot. That's tragic.
Time for a quick donation.
Oh, go for it.
Okay. From Wojo42, $10 donation. I'm so happy to see Frogmonster in the marathon. The run is truly riveting.
Ew. Thank you, Wojo. I'm almost going to die again. Oh, snap. Yeah, okay. I'm getting cornered a little bit here. Nerves get me a little bit just because I haven't commentated some of these bosses in a little while. So
if you need to focus and just do the game, go for it.
He's also being a little bit unusually aggressive towards me today. Which is weird because usually this is the boss I like never die on, but you know what? Yeah, so if you can manipulate the boss to run through some of his webs as well, you can actually get some free mana, free weapon ammo. I got another wood cannon shot. So the wood cannon also has the piercing upgrade on it, which matters for there's a couple of piercing weapons that we have equipped, which is going to matter for some of the bosses in the showcase later on. Nice. Okay. And the best part is that if you kill him with the rocket launcher, it just kersplodes them completely. Alright, now we're headed into Borp, which is just a great name for a boss. And so he's like this big turtle guy who does these head slams that are very, very large shockwave radius. And then he's also going to summon these like pillars that will cause a doubling effect where it sort of echoes the reverberations. And so you have to be very careful with where you're standing as well as kind of where the boss is. And he has a different tell for whether he does 2 shockwaves versus 1. And so I'm making sure to make use of all my ammo when possible. Just because you get full refills on everything. And like you get kind of put back into a neutral state after each boss. That was a really good board to make up for my crimes in Stickbug. Alright, this is maybe my favorite boss in the entire game. This is Balsam. He is a tree. He is a tree with 2 different tree trunks. And he breakdances, which is just awesome. This is just peak video game. I refuse to hear any complaints or evidence to the contrary. It's a breakdancing tree. I mean, come on. If that doesn't cause you to buy this game, like, immediately, I don't know what will, frankly. Alright, and so for this phase, I'm going to go ahead and manipulate the bosses so that they are kind of all in a line, so that my piercing weapons can pass through the both of them, which deals double damage. Oop. Alright. And so I'm kind of out of piercing things. Yeah, I can also control the speed of the fight because this crossbow upgrade in particular has a huge slow effect, which is really useful for... You're basically fighting 2 bosses at the same time. There we go. Nice. That's also a really hard boss, and this is part of the reason we run the build that we do. Even though it's a really high-risk, high-reward build, is it lets us just melt the bosses. Alright, this is Bins. This is the first of the soup-based bosses where you only unlock them after reaching a certain point within the soup challenges. I've already taken way more damage than I wanted to. That's okay. So this guy has a couple of different attacks he can do. He's giving me the really annoying to dodge ones, which is kind of tragic. I'm trying to save some of my Beans casts for... he has the ability to go invisible, like this. And then you can only see him if you look at his reflection. And you can make him visible again by hitting him... oh, this is... I might die here. I gotta play this super back here. Yeah, okay. So I usually try to save my beans for, because you can actually get the beans to auto-target onto his invisibility pack, which makes this way easier. You can also make use of his... You can also make use of this weapon, the railgun, or not the railgun, the chain gun, which is really useful for... it has not only a piercing effect, but also what's called an echo effect, where it will go ahead and hit through bosses and then reflect off of walls, which is really powerful. I'm going to be really careful whenever he summons the floor lasers. Oh, and he went invisible again. Play back again here while I kind of wait for my opportunity. Okay, so we managed to get the phase transition, which means he goes into this phase right here, which is pretty easy to manipulate. All you need to do is just kind of wander around the boss, and then you can kind of trick him into just looping around in circles. All right, so we got through the first with one death. That's not a big deal. All right, so now we're gonna do Long Supo, which probably took me the longest to defeat out of any of them besides maybe Trench. This boss is not ethical in any way, shape, or form, but if I play my cards correctly, I can actually hit a damage threshold and prevent the boss from doing his most annoying attack. So I don't think we hit the damage gate here. Yeah, we definitely did not. So I'm going to have to survive this, which is a little unfortunate. I'm going to try to make use of some of my piercing ammo here. Okay, we survived the phase, which is good. And then now we're in kind of like the true like main phase 2 here. Okay, so we get this attack, and we actually have a very specific flamethrower equipped, actually. And the reason behind that is it has like just the perfect spread to be able to deal with that particular attack. Just like that. Ooh, we got a wood cannon ammo too. It's worth noting as well, just from a mechanics standpoint, that the rarer, like the more like high caliber of ammo that you're using, the rarer it is going to be to find a piece of it. We also go ahead and wait until now to use all of our railgun ammo, because it, again, has that piercing property as well as that reflective property, so you can actually hit the boss twice, which is really, really powerful. So we got a first try Long Supo there, which is pretty sweet, even without the phase skip. All right, Melora. It's getting harder from here. Melora starts with these two reflector windows, so I'm going to start off by... baiting her to come over here, hopefully with, So we want to keep Melora close to us, because she does this close range attack that's a lot easier to deal with than what I call the French fry attack, And let's see. Now we use our wood cannon ammo because... So this is where like the dimensions really get funky. This game has like a lot of really cool like reality bending, like just technology to it. Okay. Wow, that was a really fast phase too. Okay. So similar thing here. We're going to go ahead and wait for Melora to come to us because we're shy. Got some more french fries right here. I'm kind of locking in here. This is by far the most dangerous part of the fight. Laura, what are you doing? The way you're actually intended to dodge the mechanics in this fight is actually to go down, I believe. Because the floor repeats infinitely, which is, again, just so freaking cool. What ammo do I even have here? Where did you go? There we go. Okay, we lived. So again, this is a big part of the reason we do this on, like, a completed file, is just because it's so insanely hard. Alright, Trench. Trench is by far the hardest. This boss is just plain unfair. That attack, for example, is a great example. His attacks are just really hard to react to. Because some of them have very similar visual cues and have very fast startup times. So I'm making use of my my slowdown abilities with my crossbow. Yeah, you can see I'm already taking a ton of damage here. I'm going to go ahead and slow him down because I think he's going to do that. And even if you try to dodge preemptively, sometimes it just doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the intermediary phase, but I will keep it a buck. It will be a Christmas miracle if I live this fight, just because I am at 1 HP, and the game is very unforgiving with its mana drops in the last phase. So this is the actual, like, soup part of the Super Boss Showcase. Trench is like the guy who, like, slices up all the monsters you beat up to make a soup. And that's great and all, but not on this fight. 2, go for 3, slow him down. And this is why you make use of the slowdown here, is because... Oh, I might die here? I have to be very careful. Oh, because he can do things like that! Yeah, and I dashed too early. We'll give this another couple of tries here. Let me know if I'm running a bit tight on the estimate, by the way. I know we got a bit ahead of schedule with how good the full game run went, but I don't know how I dodged that, but alright. The nice thing as well is that if you, it will leave what's called a soul frog at the place you died. So that can give you a free HP refill, which is really helpful. Okay, that's phase 1 taken care of. Gonna go ahead and start reloading to make sure everything is taken care of. Yeah, so both the onions as well as like the sticks of butter deal damage to you, so you gotta be real careful right there. So only 1 piece of shotgun ammo, which is a little unfortunate, but we have 5 HP instead of 1. So I think our chances are a bit better here, everybody. I don't think I'm gonna be nearly as worried. We'll go with this next. That's usually the attack he gives me, so thank you for showing me something I've seen before. Let's see. Right, I have wood cannon ammo. I should probably use that. Okay, this is the one attack that he can give you that actually gives you mana. So I'm going to be a little greedy here. Oh, and if he spawns a tail, that can also... Oh, wow, he frame trapped me. Okay, that's cool. You are never safe with this boss. This boss is so hard. And like I said, if we got a wrap, just let me know. This guy is a complete and utter jerk and is very rude. He's probably going to do this attack. Yep, called it. Once, like, you have kind of established, like, the boss's, like, first attack in a given sequence, you can kind of, like, start to predict and sort of manipulate how you want things to go. Like, this is going to be sideways attack. Okay. Check our ammo. Hit an onion. My bad. Yeah, the onions bounce around and move too. It's pretty rude. Alright. Let's tap in. We got this. That's not a great start. Oh, he threw it at me. I got baited. Give me just 1 second. Okay.
While you're getting set up, while you're getting set up the other attempt here, I'm gonna go ahead and read a donation.
Go for it.
From Frozen Flygon. Thanks for being a fantastic community and always putting on wonderful events. Thank you so much, Frozen. We appreciate you. Thank you for that $25 donation.
Thank you, Court. We got a free wood cannon to drop. Oh, and a double? Okay, maybe this is the one. Maybe I'm coping. Yeah, that attack in particular where he sends the two grappling hooks forward is maybe the most unfair thing that he does. Yeah, like, look how quickly that move comes out. That move violates every, like, Geneva Convention. Okay. Sure, everything's reloaded, and this time I'm not gonna give the boss free damage on me by hitting an onion. I lied. Whoops. Okay. I have a fireball in reserve, though, which is really nice. Alright. Time to lock it. Whenever he does the poison attack, I usually like to match it with the flamethrower. I find the flamethrower to be like a hard weapon to kind of squeeze in. Okay, and then whenever he summons his tail, I'm kind of going for any of my piercing weapons, just so that I could potentially hit both the tail and the boss. And you can also tell what attack the boss is going to do. For the most part, it depends on what he eats off of his skewer. Oh, we got him. All right, GG's. The fire damage ticks killed him. Okay. Oh, that was a little bit more rough than it usually goes, but... It was funny. In practice, I got every boss in like 1 or 2 tries, but I got absolutely clobbered. But yeah, that's the Super Boss Showcase. All right. Well, like I said earlier, thank you so much for having me and for meeting this incentive. I hope that just goes to show like how hard this game actually is. I know a lot of times speedruns can make games look easy, so I'm glad I at least got to make the game look hard. I don't even know what are you shooting at. Oh, there's a little guy. All right, bye, little guy. Anyway, so just to shout out a couple of people. Shoutouts to Ben Jungworth, who made this game pretty much all by himself. This game is incredible. Please go buy it on Steam. It's really, really damn good. Shoutouts to Cave, who has done a lot for routing this game, as well as just like finding stuff and doing awesome things with this game. Shoutouts to Cave. And then also shoutouts to Meta, as well as anyone else who's ever put any time or energy into this game. With that being said, that's going to be it for me. I'm going to get out of here because I'm probably running over time. So thank you so much for having me. Continue to donate for supporting Midwest Speedfest, and we'll catch you next time. See you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jaxler. That was a hell of a run. I love that. Especially the boss showcase. That was really intense.